Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Joyful Stories. And I am honored today to have my friend, author Heidi Gray McGill, with me. And Heidi has just released a Christian fiction book, Dial E for Endearment. And I want to read you, as an introduction, just a tiny little blurb from her book. And then we are going to chat with Heidi about her book and about her own life here. It starts out as Blowing Rock, North Carolina's Joy Radio blind talk show host Everly has discovered fulfillment, but she hasn't found love, at least not for her, not even from her mother. Everly wants words, heartfelt, meaningful, endearments meant for her ears only. She wants a man who will open her eyes to everything she cannot see, to make her feel more than just the voice behind the mic. A chance meeting might change everything. I'm telling you, Heidi, now I have been honored to be able to go ahead and read the book, but that certainly will get your attention. Talk to us a little bit about the book. Show us the cover of the book and talk to us a little bit about your book.
Yes. So Dial E for Endearment. I can't quite figure out how to make that work.
There you go. That's good.
This is a story with a blind main character. So she is carrying her white cane. It is set in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, one of my favorite places. I know you're a beach girl. I'm a mountain girl. So I do love Blowing Rock's a small town, and it is featured in the book. There are many places that when you read the book and you go to Blowing Rock, you will be able to drink coffee in the coffee shop and find the flower shop and eat at the barbecue place and find the church. And so it's kind of fun that it's actually quite true in the setting.
How did you come up with this idea for this particular book? Was there anything in particular?
It's really interesting. I was truly honored to be a part of the You Are on the Air series. It's a group of 15 authors. We're writing a story, individualized stories, 26 of them, one for each letter of the alphabet. And I was kind of late to the game, and the letter E was left. And so I just Googled words that start with the letter E that have to do with love. And endearment came up, and immediately I just had this thought process of, look, I know exactly how to make this work. I chose the month of February, and I was able to do that by swapping with some other authors. And what that did for me is February is Low Vision Awareness Month. And so my book features a blind main character, which is a super, super fun and unique thing.
It is unique. And when I was reading the book, that kind of held my attention because you had to see the story without seeing it through her eyes. You could see it through her thoughts, but not through her eyes.
Yes.
So, but now you have a special connection to the low vision. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So this is something that is important to me. Low Vision Awareness Month is important because I also have low vision. In fact, I'm considered legally blind. So what that means is when I am looking at you and I are talking, especially if we are in person and I'm looking at your eyes, I cannot see your lips, which means I'm going to miss anything right here. So I can't even at this moment, I can't even see my own hands. And so I miss people, handshakes and so forth. When I am out and about, I'm usually with someone else and I don't take my white cane. But when I'm alone or in a very unfamiliar or busy place like an airport, I will always use my cane. And I have noticed that people just make assumptions that and that happens with all of us. And so I wanted to interject right here. The character of Max, the dog, he also is a very integral part of this story in that Max is a breed that Some people see this breed and they're just immediately petrified. They've labeled this dog as very dangerous. They don't want to be near it. But Everly, because Everly cannot see the dog, Everly just sees the dog's heart. And so she falls in love with this dog instantaneously. And of course, Max falls in love with her. And so for me, I always want people to see who I am on the inside. That is what's most important to me. And so although I am not Everly the character, I do have a lot of similarities with Everly. And one of those is that I am blind. I am legally blind. And so I don't want people to say, oh, Heidi, the girl behind the white cane. That is not what I want. I want people to see me for who I am on the inside.
Absolutely. And if anybody has followed you very long on social media, they know how big your heart really is. And that is what I see you for. And that is what I saw you for before I even knew anything about your vision.
Mm-hmm.
But now, is your low vision a newer thing, or has this always been a part of your life?
It's a good question. So no, I had both of my girls, and I'm not sure what happened, but something with hormones set off the genetic disposition that I already had. And within 2 years, I was down to 20% of my peripheral vision. So it didn't give me, my body did not know how to adjust quickly. And I kept falling, and my girlfriends were really concerned about me. And they encouraged me to go see a doctor who said, you're healthy, see an eye doctor. So I went to an eye doctor and I was diagnosed. So in 2001, I learned that I had retinitis pigmentosa. And because I had lost my vision so quickly, down to 20%, we assumed I was probably going to lose the rest of it very quickly as well. Retinitis pigmentosa, or RP, is not a common eye disease. It is probably, you could say it's a cousin to macular degeneration. That's not exactly right, but people who have macular degeneration certainly do understand a little bit of what I'm going through. So when I lost my vision, I immediately stopped driving at night because I was considered completely night blind. And when they did the testing on me, I recognized that that was part of what my problem was, and not being able to see well, as I do not see at night. But when I was in 2011, I stopped driving. And Louise, that probably was the time that my eye disease hit me in the heart the most. In 2001, I had this serious conversation with God. This is not fair. I do not understand how you are going to use this. I do not understand why I am having to go through this trial. And I just let God know this isn't what I had planned for, and I'm not sure what he has in mind, but I really wanted to see my children grow up. Really wanted to see them graduate from high school. I really wanted to see them get married. I wanted to see my grandchildren. And for those individuals who understand God, it isn't that you hear an audible voice, but you can sense his presence. And his presence was so clear. And in my heart, I heard him say to me, seriously, Heidi, you do not need your vision to be able to see all of those things. Who cares what your son-in-laws are going to look like? You need to know their heart. Who cares if you can visually watch your child go across the stage? It's not that visual representation. That's not what's important. It's that your child survived high school, but it's that you are able to be there to support your child. And God was very clear to me that vision is not the most important thing in the world. And I have a Bible verse that says, let me just, if I can actually read it, I believe that I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And it's Psalm 27:13. And that verse came to me at that time. And it did not mean to me that I would have my vision for the entire time that I was in the land of the living. What that meant to me was I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Whether I did that with my eyes or not, God was going to show me the beauty of his world. And so that is when I adopted my mantra of choose joy. And I have really worked on keeping joy at the forefront of my mind, because this is one of those things that you just don't know tomorrow what tomorrow's going to bring. In fact, today I'm having a rough vision day today. I don't know. It's probably change of weather. I don't understand that, but it is just one of those things that everybody deals with. And Louise, we all deal with something. There are women who are dealing with difficult marriages, with children with learning disabilities and autism, loss of children. We're dealing with people who have aging parents and they're struggling. Everyone has something. Mine just happens to need a white cane to get through life.
Well, that is beautiful, and you are so right that God and the Holy Spirit do speak to us when we open our heart enough to listen to what He is saying to us. And that is beautiful that you choose to see the beauty of God's
Mm.
world, even though you may not physically see.
Right, right.
But now I do know that you are an author. You are active on social media. You keep grandkids.
Yes.
So tell us, how you manage to do the things that you do, so well with this low vision.
All right. So, Louise, you know just as well as I do, there is no balance in life when you're an author. Um, I um, I am right now. My grandchildren have started into a preschool program, and so I haven't had them this week, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to keep them again. So that's changed a little bit of my time. Um, but I am definitely one of those people who loves to spend time out of doors. I'm a walker. I enjoy watching movies. Everybody loves a little break now and then. I love to cook. So balancing writing with all of the things that I enjoy doing is challenging, but it is something that I need to do because I truly can only spend a certain amount of time on the computer before my eyes just tell me we're done. And so then I need to go focus on something else.
Well, very good. Now, talking about your writing, you have written other books besides just this one. Tell us what else you have out there.
All right. So, Dialing for Endearment is my first attempt at a contemporary. It is definitely Christian fiction, and it is, of course, the story of Everly, and it has an underlying theme of everyone has value. But my other series is Discerning God's Best, and it was my first attempt at sharing my heart. I had been the director and founder of an ESL program, English as a Second Language, and it was the platform that I used to share my heart for Christ. I am a Christ follower and I want to be his disciple, and I certainly want to spread the good news. And I used that. And when my ESL program closed because of COVID, I needed another platform. And writing is something that has been that avenue for me. And so my Discerning God's Best series helps to tell the story of a woman who goes through a very difficult time. A lot of tragedy happens in her life, but she learns to choose joy. And that's how you and I connected, is we just both had this choose joy theme in
Yeah.
our hearts. And it was that instant friendship connection, and I've always appreciated that.
Well, thank you. And yes, joy is what I write about and speak about and everything. And I did see that in you right away. And I continue to see that in everything you do. And
Mhm.
you do have, I think it's maybe a blog post
Mhm.
about how when your vision became a medical issue, and you wrote there about choosing joy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do try to bring that out in my blog posts every once in a while. Because it is so important. Joy is not something that comes easily to most people. It is truly choosing. It is a choice. It is challenging. It is before your feet hit the floor in the morning. It is thinking of something that you can be thankful for, a praise that you can give to our Heavenly Father. Just the fact that you were able to wake up one more day. There are so many negatives that hit us. And so I want to interject here, Louise. I have so enjoyed learning more about how you choose joy, and it's such a wonderful process. One of the things that I have learned just recently, this is not something I've learned over the last year, just in the last few weeks, is when I look at my cell phone first thing in the morning, sets the tone for my day. Because I am visually challenged, I don't read a physical copy of the Bible. I listen to a different version of the Bible each year. I try to go through the Bible chronologically and each year. And this year I've chosen the Message. I've never read the Message version before, and it's actually really opening my eyes to some very unique things that I didn't notice before. But because I am always have my phone with me, that is what I use when I'm listening to my Bible. And I found that if I get sidetracked and I look at my emails or my Facebook or my Instagram or any of those social media sites before I do my devotions in the morning, sets my day off wrong. And I struggle to choose joy more on those days than any other day. Do you find that to be true as well?
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I think that is our natural instinct is to wake up and look
Mhm.
at our phone, whether it be email or social media.
Right.
But there's probably not anything there that's more important than that devotional time
Mhm.
and that prayer time. And it does set the tone for our day.
Yes.
And it has to become a habit. It's too easy to
Yes.
let go of if you don't make it a habit.
Yes.
Just like you were talking about choosing joy, and it's the same thing. It doesn't just happen. You have to choose every single day, and you have to make that choice your
Yes.
habit in order
Yes.
to keep it coming.
Absolutely. That is so true.
But now you mentioned that you are listening to the Bible, and that's interesting because that's what I have chosen to do this.
Oh, fun.
Yes, yes. But I was curious to know if you read any Braille or anything along those lines.
That's a great question. I am absolutely floored that anyone can figure out how to read Braille. I still can't even memorize the alphabet. I have the utmost respect for anyone who has conquered that language. It is fabulous. So I don't use Braille. I mostly use my phone. And the reason is when you are looking at your phone from left to right, my eyes, it's such a short distance, an inch and a half, 2 inches, that my eyes don't lose a line. And I can make those words as big as I need to be. So I even read most times on my, when I'm reading a Kindle book, I'm reading it on my phone. I do use a Kindle with a very narrow screen, and that helps me as well with a large print, but not Braille. And I'm telling you, the people who have learned that, that's just fascinating to me.
Yeah, I grew up with a guy that I believe, to my knowledge, he really was probably totally blind.
Mhm.
And he read Braille. And it was interesting to me, but knowing someone who was actually doing that kind of gave me
Yes.
some interest in
Yes,
that.
yes. I think the thing that fascinates me about Braille is, when you read a book yourself, you bring those characters to life in your mind. And then you watch the movie and you're like, that's not how I expected that to be at all. Or you listen to the audiobook and the reader doesn't make that accent quite like you expected that
Right.
one to be. And so in your mind, it's very difficult. So um, for someone who reads Braille, it's like if they are reading it for themselves, they can create in their own minds who that person is, just like when you and I read it on with text. And so it's a very freeing thing for someone who is able to read Braille.
Yeah, that's interesting then. Well, hey, I did want to talk to you about one other thing that you had mentioned to me and that was the Metrolina Association for the
Yes.
Blind. And I have had a teeny little bit of contact with them myself, in that the at least some of, I won't say all of, the Lions clubs in our
Mhm,
area are associated with them.
mhm.
And they do have, and you probably know more about this than I do, a camp for the blind up
Yes.
at Lake Norman, Camp
Mhm.
Dogwood.
Yes.
And I have been up there for a
It's
couple of
beautiful.
meetings. Yes, yeah. So talk to us about this association, and what you know about what they do and how they assist the visual impaired.
Absolutely. So I just want to let you know that Metrolina Association for the Blind is a nonprofit organization, and 50% of the proceeds of all of the e-back and paperback copies of Dial E for Endearment are going toward Metrolina Association for the Blind during the month of February. I really wanted to do that for them, to give back, because what they gave to me was freedom and hope. Metrolina Association for the Blind, they have their own opticians, and these individuals are just phenomenal. So they reviewed my eyesight. They did verify what my regular eye doctor had said. But more than that, they provide different services. And some of those are a group setting where I met other people who had RP, and I had never met anyone before who had this eye disease. So it was creating and cementing some friendships that were phenomenal. Some of these people had lost their eyesight quickly, some of them since they were children, but we all had the same story going on, and we were trying to learn how to navigate new in this world in a new way. They also provided specialized classes on how to use a knife, how to apply makeup, how to tell the difference between black, brown, and blue, because I am really losing my color process, and how to utilize your technology so you can watch television. So, you know how they have closed captioning at the bottom for the deaf and the hearing impaired?
Yes.
They have the same thing for blindness, and you can, some of
Wow.
the newer televisions have them on there, but you can purchase a little piece of software, and it will tell you what's going on. A car is racing down the road, and it's blue, and smoke is trailing from the backside, and you can hear the engine roaring, and it's giving you these visuals, so that you can tell what's going on, and not just eerie music in the background or a love song in the background. It'll explain things to you. So that's pretty cool. But the other thing that they provided to me was this white cane. And Louise, I resisted this for a long time. I did not want to be labeled as someone that needed this. My pride most certainly got in the way. I thought, I can do this. But after you fall down multiple flights of steps because you didn't even know they were there, or you trip over something that was clearly in your path that a white cane would have caught, you realize I need to do this. Pardon me for just a moment.
Absolutely.
So they provided for me white cane training. We went to Lowe's and Home Depot, and it was like Moses and the Red Sea, man. I could part waters like you would not believe. That little white cane is awesome. I'm pretty sure that that's what Moses had. So we went through it, trying to navigate, excuse me, around those the things that stand in the middle that hold up the ceiling. I am so sorry. Um, everybody runs into those with their cart, whether you are seeing impaired or not. Those things are awful. So I did learn how to utilize my cane, how to go downstairs and upstairs. Pardon me. Metrolina Association for the Blind was wonderful with teaching and providing these services for me. So it's very natural for me to want to give back to them, to say thank you.
That is excellent. And I did recognize the organization when you mentioned that. And I did know that they had offered a lot of benefit to to the visually impaired. And so it's nice to personally know someone who has been recipient of some of those
Yes.
services. It's from listening to you talk, there's more services than I really knew that they
Mhm.
even provided.
Yes. Well, not only services, but if you live close by and you're able to take advantage, they have classes, they have yoga classes, of all kinds of fun things to keep that blind community engaged into the secular, regular world.
That is fantastic.
It is.
Well, okay, we are closing in on our time here, but let's go back to your book once again. Show us that book cover once again.
I
Let's read
will do that. I'm going to cover up
that.
my face because I cannot figure out how to do this otherwise.
Yes, that's perfect. I want to leave that image in everyone's mind. Yes, you were starting to say something.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were, but this is exciting. Your book just released yesterday, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
This is so exciting, and February is a great month for you to be able to release this book. And I just want to wish you all the best with your sales and congratulations on this huge accomplishment. I mean, it's a fabulous book. I personally thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you, Louise.
Yeah, well, I'm sincere. I picked it up and literally I could not put it down. I had the day that I could dedicate to reading it, and I just sat down and read it through
Oh,
and
good.
through.
Good.
Yes.
Well, if you ever get up to Blowing Rock, North Carolina, be sure to check out Camp Coffee Roasters. Get yourself a cup of coffee. But thank you, Louise. I genuinely appreciate that you love on other people through this interview system that you have. It really is something that is unique. An author often stays behind the screen when you're writing and you put all of your thoughts and on paper. You don't get a chance to actually speak them out. So thank you for this opportunity.
Listen, thank you for being here and for sharing your story, and not only your book, but your personal story
Well,
with
thank
us and with
you.
our audience.
Thank you.
And I think people have learned a lot from it. And I want to encourage others to get your book and just realize that half of your proceeds is going to support others who need this. But the last thing, do tell us, where can we locate you and your book, Belle?
All right. So that's actually, I really appreciate that you did ask me that. The easiest way to find most authors is by looking at their name on Amazon. Heidi Gray McGill. I do go by 3 simply because so many people knew me as Heidi Gray. It is an easy place to find me, but one of the places that you can connect with me is on Facebook, also Heidi Gray McGill. I love to interact with people, almost always comment on someone's thread in a post. I just love that interaction, the quick and easy interaction. But if you want to get to know me a little bit better, the best way that you can do that is go to my website, Heidi Gray McGill. And Louise, I'll have to get that website address to you because it's a little unusual. Um, but when you sign up for my newsletter, you do get a free novella, the beginning of the Discerning God's Heart series, and it is a fun little short novella. But the thing that you get to do is you get to see who I am as a person. I do tell my personal testimony when in the 3rd or 4th letter that you'll receive from me. I am very, very careful with how much I send once a month after the first few emails of making sure that we're connecting. And then when you email me, I respond to every email. And Louise, I know you understand this as well. There is something very special about when someone takes the time to email you and share their heart with you. I love that
Yes.
connection.
Yes, absolutely. And I do personally know that you do respond to those emails. And that means a lot to get an email back from an author.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so Amazon, and we're going to drop your website address in the comments as soon as we sign off here, and
All
that
right.
will make it easy for people to find you.
Very good. Thank you.
Listen, Heidi, thank you for being here today. I enjoyed my chat with you as always, and I look forward to talking with you again very soon.
Thank you, Louise. God bless.
Okay, bye now.